The Lakers defeated the Memphis Grizzlies last night 116 to 110 in a convincing fashion. LeBron James, coming off much needed rest in his first game back, looked really, really good. Deondre Hawkins here with another edition of Lakers Talk Daily presented by Pechanga Resort Casino. Play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino, the official Native American resort and casino of the Los Angeles Lakers. Skip the traffic, head on over to Pechanga Resort Casino, just off the I-15 in Temecula. Visit pechanga.com or call 888-PECHANGA for reservations and for more information. They have 4 days of rest leading up to that game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Granted, it looked like they were tired coming off those 4 days of rest, which is very, very odd to me, losing against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then come last night against the Memphis Grizzlies, LeBron came back and looked really, really good in that first half. He was flying around, high energy, came down one play on the right wing, came down with a tomahawk dunk. You're like, ooh, look at LeBron. He is flying around. He looks really good. He is moving around. Maybe that left foot soreness is not an issue. First half, LeBron James looked really, really good. Then the second half, you can start to see the fatigue kind of set in just a little bit. But the Lakers should consider giving LeBron James much needed rest. Yes, he said that he was battling some foot soreness and then also getting kneed in the quad in that Atlanta Hawks game. He mentioned that post game. But then he comes out in the post game as well and saying, hey, look, it's very, very rare that you get this much time in between games to get rest. The Lakers got to utilize this rest, not only for him, but for other guys as well. Get healthy. Take time to get healthy because you can use that to your advantage. Granted, we saw what the Lakers when they played against the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns had, 6, 7 days of rest before that game against the Los Angeles Lakers, and it showed. It showed how much rest is key in this game. And the Phoenix Suns came out in that game really, really, really well. They played really good all 48 minutes. This game, LeBron James, much needed rest. Looked really, really good that first half. You know fatigue is going to set in, especially him. We know he's turning 40 years old in a couple weeks. But the Lakers need to consider that. Maybe just giving him, if there's a back-to-back on certain occasions, maybe they'll let him play on the second night of a back-to-back. Because LeBron James has the excuse to not play on the second night of back-to-back. We want to be able to keep LeBron James at a high level. And it has shown. The Lakers got out there and they were jumping out in 20-point leads, increasingly to 25 points. Yes, the Grizzlies were chipping away. Granted, that was Anthony Davis leaving the game with the shoulder injury. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But we need to dial in and lock in on how LeBron James looked in that first half. Yes, he shot the ball relatively well. Shot 7 of 17. 3-ball looked good. Looked like he wasn't tired on his jump shots. Looked like he was elevating in the right way. Because you know LeBron does tend to have fatigue shots where he doesn't have legs into it. And it's not as explosive as we've seen. But it shows when you have rest in between games. But they come off 4 games of rest against that Minnesota Timberwolves play. But he didn't play in that Timberwolves game, so LeBron James realistically had a whole week off. And he did not travel with the team. That is good. That's a good sign. Then he comes ready to go for this Memphis Grizzlies game. Lakers don't play again until Thursday against the Sacramento Kings. They have 3 days. 3 days where they don't have to worry about traveling, going to an East Coast trip, going to another Western Conference opponent. Yes, they're playing at Sacramento, but look at that. They're playing at Sacramento. So they don't have to worry about a long traveling. Utilize this rest. Utilize it. It's going to be key. I may be wrong, but if you guys agree that the Lakers should consider giving LeBron James rest on certain games, then maybe they should. But I want you guys to weigh in on that if the Lakers should utilize giving LeBron James rest when it comes to the second night of back-to-backs, or when it comes to a long road trip, or when it comes to that. We just got to be able to look at the positives. I know, second half, he looked, like I said, fatigue got in. The offense got a little stagnant once LeBron James fatigue set in and Anthony Davis left to the locker room. But this is all stuff that needs to be looked at. And it's great that it happened in this moment early on in the season, whether or not to look at his minutes. He played 34 minutes. Okay, let's see. Do we want to keep on playing him 30 plus minutes, or try to utilize him in a role where we are monitoring his minutes, but he's able to utilize those minutes at a high level, high energy on both ends of the floor? Because people are saying LeBron James' defense hasn't been that good. he takes a lot of time off defensively, and then exerts all of his energy on offense. Well, that wasn't the case last night. You saw when he came down with that tomahawk dunk, and then he came down and followed it up with a chase down block on Desmond Bane. That's what happens when you get rest. That's what happens when you utilize rest, and they got to take advantage of this rare opportunity. Anthony Davis had a shoulder injury. We'll touch a little bit on that. But before we do, I want to let my partners at Pechanga give you guys a quick word.
At Pechanga Resort Casino, you can rock and roll, sip and slide, twist and shout. Play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino, official Indian gaming sponsor of the Lakers.
So we saw in that third quarter, Anthony Davis went to the locker room after with the shoulder injury after a Grizzlies player came down with an elbow on his shoulder. I don't want to dive too much into this. We'll get more into that tomorrow, but we should be a little concerned if this injury is going to be lingering for Anthony Davis. We saw how it took effect. Granted, we saw that it did not affect his jumper. He was still able to make a couple mid-range jump shots and look a little fluid on there offensively. But we should be concerned a little bit with how he was still grimacing. You saw him grinding his teeth and then looking a little limp on the court. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. I know he came back in that game and, he wanted to finish what the job was already at hand. And it's always key to get big wins against a Western Conference opponents, especially a Grizzlies team who is coming in there hot, especially when they're the second seed. It's always great to get good wins against a Western Conference opponent. But this is now time. When you have these 3 days off, utilize this time of rest. Keep an eye on his shoulder. The Lakers cannot afford an Anthony Davis long-term injury or even a short-term injury because every single game matters, especially where the Lakers are at in the conference standings. But we'll dive a little bit into that come tomorrow's episode. But as always, appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, peace.